Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome back. My name's Rania, and I'm going to be talking to you today about how to establish a marketing and business development fund in your Main Street. So you're in the right place if this is something that you're wanting to learn, or maybe you are wanting to renew your marketing and business development fund in your Main Street. Now, because this information session is only 20 minutes long, I will be able to answer any questions that you have if you come and visit me over at the trade station, my trade station there, or throughout the networking event, or you can come and grab my details. But today, the information session will be short and sweet, and yes, please come and visit me. So, meet me. I'm Rania. I am a business marketing permit and Main Street specialist. Prior to starting in local government, I actually operated my own hula hoop business. So the only reason I got a job in local government was to save up enough money to get back on the road selling hula hoops and teaching people how to hoop at markets. But I never left local government till this year, and I launched Yellow Round Table. So it's really exciting to be here. I'm really passionate about what I can do, but my time in local government was in a huge range of different types of roles. So I started off in local laws, animal management, pet expo coordinator, into strategic planning. I've worked in finance, economic development and tourism, just the whole shebang, but I think I'm on my most exciting career journey yet with Yellow Round Table. So Yellow Round Table provides executive services for incorporated associations, so chambers of commerce and industry, trader associations and business associations. I'm really passionate about working with these groups in particular, especially because they are volunteer-based, so a lot of people don't realise that they're nominated, they're volunteers in a business community that are really passionate about helping their shopping precincts. But to make this a lot more easier and digestible, I wanted to break it down into 6 simple steps. So I'm going to go through these six simple steps of how to start a marketing and business development fund. And this is the process timeline up there, but I'll go into this in more detail. Step 1 is the model. So what is your business model? I think this is where it can be quite confusing or overwhelming. There's so many different types of models that can be done to engage a marketing professional to come and support a shopping precinct, but there's a membership base, so this means that it's a pay-to-play type of model or that there is a profit to be made. Then there's not doing anything. Maybe it's not even knowing that funding can exist. So that's something that's very common here in Victoria or throughout Australia as well. And then there's the unfunded or a funded incorporated association, which is what I'll be focusing on today. So a membership is, like I said just a moment ago, is that there's a profit to be made by members. So there is no exact governance framework. It operates like a business. This is not what a Chamber of Commerce and Industry operates as, or a trader or business association. They are an incorporated association. They have governance frameworks and model rules. There's a lot of, a statutory process they have to follow with that. Not doing anything means that you potentially miss out on opportunities, especially if you don't know that it exists. It's not common to hear when working in local government or to hear a government organisation promoting this, that it does exist. You kind of have to navigate the website or find that person in economic development who might tell you that these groups exist, which is really valuable, and I think many more businesses would be quite interested in participating or starting one in their main streets if they knew that they could be done. Then the next is the unfunded and funded incorporated association. So the magic number 5. So 5 members are needed to register with Consumer Affairs as an incorporated association. Your organisation is not wanting to collect funding to create a profit. It's there for the members. So it's to be used to engage or employ a marketing coordinator or a manager. It's to elect a committee, so annual general meetings are coming up for anyone that hasn't sent out their notification to their members, so you've got till the 30th of November to do that. But it's just a governance framework to establish marketing and business initiatives or how funding would be spent in a shopping precinct, which is really exciting. The organisation just wants to have that legal and financial framework, so it's really valuable. It also allows an organisation to elevate their brand awareness and have a unified voice in their community. Oops. So the key points is membership-based means that the organisation wants to make a profit. Not knowing that this exists means that you might miss out on opportunities, and unfunded associations still have opportunity to access grants and funding and things like that. They don't have the funding there from the get-go like a funded incorporated association would. Step 2 is the research. So for any organisation or business group that is wanting to explore the opportunity of introducing a business and marketing development fund, it's really important to validate the question through the research. Because there may be businesses out there in your shopping precinct that may not support or may not be able to afford allocating X amount of dollars to establishing a business and development fund. But to make this really easy, I think it's best that you set your goals. So the goal is to establish a business and development fund. Have a date in mind. So because it does involve a statutory process, that means that there's a real huge delay. That's why I put in to establish the fund by October 2023, because that's really keeping in mind how long it might take for councillors or council reports to get put through the system for that to be established. So that's why it's such a long lead time. Plan out the schedule. So it's also the resources. So you've nominated your committee, you know exactly what it is you're wanting to do, what's the business plan, the marketing plan, and reviewing what your progress is, because it can be really stressful going through a statutory process, but the research needs to be there. You're wanting to define what your vision and mission is, and that's to raise awareness of the market to promote to increase employment, and I've just taken this out of the Local Government Act. So that's probably the easiest way, just to put that there to understand what your vision, your mission and your why is. So the key points is set clear goals and objectives, have 5 members, elect a committee, and have the resources. So the committee, the time, the money, the buy-in. The next step is step 3, which is all about engagement. And this is the most important one. It's not that you're, as an incorporated association, that you're wanting to engage businesses for a 2-week period or just have an online survey. This is really important to get that buy-in. There's so many different stakeholders that you have to engage. And it's better to have a longer lead time, so whether it's 2-3 months worth or even longer than that, because there's a statutory process involved. Engagement means there's going to be a public notice period, meaning that the business owners or the property owners, whoever's paying the fee, which is the property owner, unless a Section 32 lease states the business owner takes over that, well, they have an opportunity to make a submission, kind of like a planning permit process. They can make a submission to council to object or support a special rate being introduced. So this is why engagement's really important, to make sure that you do have that buy-in before getting to step number 4. Next is council officers. So speaking with them, if you're interested in trying to start or establish a business and marketing Mainstreet fund, speak with your council officer from the get-go, because they're going to be someone that really supports you on that journey. They're the one that's writing the report, and the evidence that you can provide to them that it's being supported by the businesses or property owners that you're engaging with is really important, and it just sets the tone for a real great working relationship. And last is the councillors. So councillors with engagement, it's not that throughout this time that you need to get a lot of their feedback. The councillors play a huge part when it comes to the statutory process, because the only way a decision can be made is in a council chamber, ultimately. So that's why I've added them there for the engagement element. So key points, the engagement is the most important step. Each stakeholder plays a different role. The engagement should involve your entire committee. I didn't mention that, but when you elect a committee, you might designate different roles for everyone, so it just allows that unified brand voice. Having your committee go out and engage businesses just creates more buy-in from the businesses, because they will understand that you're just like them as well. You can also find out how much businesses may be able to afford. It might be to establish a Mainstreet development fund, and it's only for $200 per year over that 5-year period. So very similar to what the bids are, except a Mainstreet, a Chamber of Commerce or a business association doesn't, at this stage, take over what councils offer with the maintenance or picking up rubbish and things like that. So that's a difference there. Step 4 is to analyse the information. So validating the information, summarising it, is establishing a fund supported by the businesses? If it's not, why? Can you go back and conduct even further engagement? Because if it's not supported with the engagement or your findings, there's no point really going to the next step of approaching your council because of that statutory process, unless you're willing to continuously go back to those businesses, even if you want to start the statutory process, to seek their buy-in, to seek their engagement, or really sell the message of what a marketing and business development fund can do for a community. So that's what we're wanting to validate at this stage of how much can be raised and whether or not it's worth going to the next step. Step 5 is preparing all the information ready for your council. So a summary is a business and marketing plan. You take that engagement information that you've obtained from the businesses that you've consulted with, and you'd formulate that as a summary to send to your council along with the business and marketing plan and a formal letter which states how that money would be collected. So is it just a set rate, or is it based on a value of the property, and what the actual area is, the geographical area. So that's what you'd provide to your council in the next step, which is the request. So you take that same information that I've just talked about and you'd hand that to the council, and then that's how the statutory process will begin. So what happens next is the statutory process, and for anyone that has never been involved in managing a statutory process, I've just summarised it into 3 simple steps. So the intention to declare, and this is where the council has come back into the game, but your council officer, the person I'm assuming from economic development who's written the report or who will take a lot of value from the evidence that you provided them through your consultation, will be able to put that information in the reports that they're presenting to council to state, we're wanting to explore this opportunity, and council will dissolve their intention to declare a special rate. So that just starts the process, and then the engagement part comes into play at step 2, the public notice period. So just like how you see the big yellow signs on a planning permit application that are being advertised, there is an advertising period, a public notice period for this, where people, property owners, business owners will come in and put their submissions and speak to a delegated committee. And then step 3 is the decision being made. So councillors will make a decision to declare, modify or abandon a special rate, so the Business and Development Marketing Fund. So a recap is that it's just a continuous cycle ultimately of those 6 steps. It's just, even once it has been declared, it's really important that a business association or trader association continues that cycle of engaging, which is what they do. It's just really fantastic to see so many business associations here today. I've enjoyed meeting a lot of you, and that's all that I wanted to, that's my presentation today. In your goodie bag though, I have got a little social media toolkit, so you can feel free to use that, share with businesses that you represent or organisations. It will just help you at Christmas time with getting some content ready for social media. And that's it from me. Thank you very much for your time.